Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Andy here. I went from depressed and suicidal to living a life of abundance and joy. If I can do it, you sure as hell can too. I thought it might be a little bit of fun to go through all of your comments and answer everything because I, ladies and gentlemen, am having a tough time keeping up with all of you. And you all write such amazing comments and you ask such kick ass questions. And I like to be able to answer or speak to as many of you as I possibly can. And I thought, what better way than to turn it into maybe a series where I answer your questions, somewhat similar to what we used to do when we did the live streams. And for some of you, this might be really fun as well, because you get an inside look into what a comment section on a YouTube channel can be like. Let's get straight into it. I don't know if you can see on camera here. I got my Dr. Pepper, not sponsored, and I got my Snowman Christmas mug. And we are going to kick back with a little Dr. Pepper and answer some comments together. I've seen some of these comments. I haven't seen plenty others. So you're in for a wild ride. We'll see if we get any negative comments. We'll see if we get any positive comments. We'll see if we get some nonsensical comments, which is usually how it goes. Let's get straight into it. So this is on a video called How to Be a Good Dom, which was an interview I did with a guy called Mario, who's also into BDSM, and we had sort of a big, long chat. It's a really cool interview, so you can go check that out if you're interested. Eddie the Bastard says, as a D type, I assume he means Dom type, responsibility is number one and part of the turn on. Number one, the old-fashioned view is that the Dom has the power. So in the video, we were discussing, there's sort of a stereotype or a myth that in a dominant relationship, in like Dom sub in BDSM and stuff like that, in a power dynamic, that it's the Dom who has all the power and he can do whatever the hell he wants, and the submissive person has to just shut the fuck up and take whatever she's given. And plenty of people are into that. But in this interview, Mario and I are both the type of people who we like the people that we're having sex with to have fun. And so for us, it's not so much about us doing whatever we want. We personally prefer to see it more as like two people coming together, and one of them happens to be dominant and one of them happens to be a bit more submissive, and we're all having fun, and we do a little bit of what she wants, we do what we want, and she has the power to say no at any point in time, obviously, and we do as well. And that's how we like to have sex. That's how we like to do our BDSM or our kink. So Eddie the Bastard says, one view of looking at this is the old-fashioned way where the Dom has the power, and then there's sort of an overcorrection where you think like, oh no, the submissive has the power because she has the power to say no at any point. So technically she's the one with all the power. And he says the truth in a healthy dynamic is that both have power and both have responsibility. Either a Dom or a sub who abuses their power will often find themselves losing out because word gets around and because they've lost the trust and intimacy of the most able playmates. Yeah. You can have a heart, my friend. You can have a thumbs up. I give pretty much everyone a heart and a thumbs up, but it's still special. On this video here, Imogen did a video which she's been doing plenty more content on our channel, which is really cool. I've said this before, but she used to be really shy, and there was no way in hell that she was ever going to do a video by herself. She was really terrified to start doing videos with me. That took her quite a bit of confidence, so it's been amazing watching her start to do content on her own. And I've encouraged her over the years. I've said, would you like to do some content? Or I've asked her, I guess I would say, would you like to do some content? And she's always sort of said like, no. And then it was recently, it was like 3 months ago or so, that she was like, I think I want to do content. And I was like, yeah, if you want to, go for it. And so it's been really great seeing her open up that side of herself as well. And she was really nervous. She was really terrified, but most of you were really nice in the first couple of comments and things that she got. So she's having a lot of fun with that. And this is one of those comments, I think, remember I said at the start of this, I did some foreshadowing, but some comments that I get, I do my best to understand, but I don't really know what's being said. I'm open to all good, thank you. You can have a heart and you can have a thumbs up. So the YouTube comments section doesn't always make sense, but we're going to have a bit of fun anyway. Ninola Transformacion 6056. That's a mouthful, my friend. That's what your mum... Wait. That's a mouthful, my friend. That's what your mum said. Very inappropriate jokes on this channel. Said, I didn't know I was into being dominant, but my girlfriend helped me see it in myself and I leaned into it. Now I'm very much into it. Also, she said she's finally able to live in her feminine energy and submissive to me. That's really cool. I love when people figure out what they want and what their partners want, and then they try it together. Wait, where did he go? I clicked up. You can have a heart. You can have a thumbs up. I tell you what, you get a comment. That's awesome, my man. Happy for you both. There you go. And I always sign comments with my name if it's a video with Imogen or I. Do we thumbs up our own comment? What do you reckon? I reckon we do. I reckon we give ourselves a thumbs up. Everyone else gets a thumb up. Do we give ourselves a heart? Ooh, go on then. Just for that one. That was a great comment, Andy. Good job. Aaron Smith, so on the same video. So this video was on sexual bucket lists and figuring out what you're into and what your partners are into. Aaron Smith, 3293, says, I listened to this while driving and I had to take the time to come back and comment. There were things said in this video that were very therapeutic for me. I'll tell you something funny. I've said this a million times before. I really don't, and Imogen doesn't remember what we say in videos because we record them so many, sometimes weeks in advance. And I will record a lot of content at a time. Like today I recorded, because I got multiple platforms. Today I recorded like 5 pieces of content already. I have a Spotify podcast. I have this YouTube channel. I do YouTube shorts. I write articles. I write emails. I message all the people in my coaching program. I will do podcasts for the people in my coaching program. I will do voice messages for the people in my coaching program. Like I'll go for a walk and I'll just record a piece of content basically for them answering their question. And I forget what I talk about. And so people will often reference it or they'll timestamp or something and they'll be like, timestamp, 7 minutes, 43 seconds. They'll be like, yeah, I agree. And I'm like, I really have no idea what I said, but I'm glad to hear that it was therapeutic. Things that I needed to hear right now to the day. The universe works in funny ways. It does, my friend. I like to say that the universe has a sense of humor or that this is all a funny cosmic joke. Thank you for this one. You guys are amazing. I have no idea what we said, but you can have a heart and you can have a thumbs up. Hackman78 says, I don't know why this is on my recommendations. That's cool. I'm deeply fascinated. I'd love to hear from any of you if you're happy to. Leave a comment and let me know how you found my channel. I'm genuinely curious, like how you found my channel. Like recommendations, word of mouth, what video got recommended to you. I think some of the BDSM ones that Imogen and I are doing lately are going quite viral. Like we had one that got like 350,000 views. So yeah, I'm always curious how people find the channel. Welcome, obviously, my friend. Welcome to the community. We are, if you're not familiar, a group of guys and girls that just want to improve and leave the world a little better than we found it and be kind to ourselves and be kind to others and have a bunch of kinky sex if that's what we're into, make a bunch of money if that's what we're into. Basically, I am here with whatever goals you might have. I'm on a mission to help you get those goals. So, welcome. I don't know why this is on my recommendation, but as a guy who hasn't even kissed a girl in the past 10 years, I'm 32 now, I guess my bucket list would include going on one more date before I die. My friend, you can go on at least one more date before you die. You can go on way more than that. I obviously have a metric fuck ton of content about sex and dating and relationships. If you're not familiar, on my website, so you can go to killyourinnerloser.com, there is a very big button at the top about having sex or getting laid on Tinder, and it is a guide written mostly for men. Women could read this too and you could benefit from this, but I don't think most women want to get laid. And this guide, by the way, also applies, I called it get laid, but it applies to relationships. I have an entire section at the end on relationships, an entire massive part. It is like 130,000 words long. This is part 1, and look at all the chapters there, and there's part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5. You can grab a condensed version if all this intimidates you and it's way too big, but it's basically a guide on self-improvement, on going on dating apps and meeting people, what to message, dates and having fun and getting to know people, having sex, building intimacy. And then, like I said, part 5 is basically how to build a relationship. So all of that is there. That would probably be my recommendation for where to start. All of this is completely free, by the way. Again, it's just on killyourinnerloser.com. But I would start with that. That's probably honestly the easiest place to start with if you're looking to go on some dates with some women. But really, it's just a process of putting yourself out there. I think if it's been a while, if you haven't kissed someone in 10 years, you can sort of build up a lot of stories about that. Like maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm unlovable. I'm in, People use the word incel, all these different ways of saying maybe there's something wrong with me. But no, you probably just haven't made it a priority. I've worked with so many clients that were like virgins in their 30s. You know, you say you're 32. Yeah, I've worked with so many guys in their 30s. I have people in the, got someone in the coaching group right now who's like in their 50s. But I have like so many people in their 30s that are virgins. If you haven't already checked it out, my friend, you can go onto my channel, and if you click the playlists button or the playlist section, go down here and where is it? Somewhere down the bottom. Go to coaching client interviews. I have an entire playlist, and I've done an interview with like all of the coaching clients that I've worked with. And some of them are like exactly what you're talking about. Like, look, 27-year-old virgin, you know, sleeps with 8 women. Where are the other virgin guys? You know, 29-year-old virgin, just had sex a week or two before turning 30. Ravi was another person who was like a virgin at 30 and very depressed and all of that. Where's Ed? Ed is the best example. Here you go, Ed. From 31-year-old virgin to confident player. So he was a virgin in his 30s. 5'4" guy loses his virginity. He was younger than you though, but that doesn't matter, man. That really doesn't matter. But there's plenty of people here. Look, this guy lost his virginity and had an orgy. Yeah, there's like tons of virgins that I've worked with. It's like a very common thing that people come to me going like, I don't know how to meet women. And I'm like, it's okay, I can help. So you're here, losing virginity at 30. Yeah, this guy, Jeff, he hadn't met any women. I don't think he'd kissed anyone or anything in like 9 years when he came to me. So I promise it's not like, there's nothing wrong with you, I promise. But most of the guys that I see or that I work with who haven't met someone in a long time, like 10 years like you, it's almost never that there's something wrong with you. I would never say there's something wrong with any human being anyway, but you might think there's something wrong with you. No, it's usually just that you didn't make it a priority. It's that you were just working on other things, or maybe you were just living a comfortable life, you know, and it wasn't a big priority for you. On my blog, there's an article I wrote called Comfortably Uncomfortable, where I talk about this exact concept about the vast majority of human beings are like just comfortable. Like there's this quote here by Grant Cardone: comfort makes more prisoners than all the jails combined. So this is an article about like comfort and how the average person's life, especially if you're on a YouTube channel like mine, if you're just sitting there watching YouTube, your life is already okay. Like you're probably not struggling for survival. You know what I mean? If you're able to watch YouTube videos and comment on my videos, your life is probably okay. Like, and so that is a lot of the time a big reason why people don't go and date someone or put themselves out there, you know, men and women. There's plenty of people that live a fairly comfortable life, and so you're not challenged because life is okay. You know what I mean? It's not like you're struggling to eat. It's not like you're struggling to sleep. You're probably okay. You probably have some video games. You probably get a little bit of porn. You get some nice food. You probably have some friends. Your life is probably okay. And so there's less of a like desperation to go dating. But that's why I always bring it back to, what would you like? Well, what do you want? And if you're at a point now where you're sitting there going, do you know what? I think I'd like to go on a date with a woman. I think I'd like to find a woman that can be nice to me and I can be nice to her and we can have a great experience. Then great, go make that happen. You can use my Tinder guide that I showed you on the screen, bearing in mind that guide is a little bit more focused on like having sex or getting laid, but you can still use the guide. It's very much like a self-improvement guide. It's very much like, just slightly tweak it. You're probably not going to jump on there and be like, oh, I want to go and get my dick wet. Like maybe your goal is, as you said, I just want to go on a date with a nice woman and have a good time. So you can still use the Tinder guide, just edit a little bit of what you say. Like rather than being so focused on sex, just be focused on going on a date. You could walk up to women on the street and be like, hey, how's your day going? I thought you were cute and I wanted to say hello, and you can introduce yourself that way. You don't have to be good at that. You can go to meetup.com and go to different events and meet people there. You can join some sports clubs. You can join some book clubs. You can go to bars. There's like a million places where women are. Obviously, women are like everywhere. They're 51% of the population. But I promise you there's plenty of women out there that would love to meet you. It's just a matter of making it a priority now. If it's something that's important to you, then just go and start taking those baby steps. And you said you're new to the channel, but a big part of what we focus on is taking little baby steps, taking little bits of action, doing a little bit at a time, slowly improving over time, giving yourself permission to suck. If you haven't even kissed a girl in 10 years, You're probably going to be nervous on a date. That's okay. You're allowed to be nervous. I'd be nervous. You're probably going to be terrified to go on a dating app. That's okay. And that's why we say start with little baby steps. So just take the first step. And the first step in your case, depending on what you want, this is what you want. It's not up to me to tell you what to do. But your first step might be something like, I go and join a book club. I go and take dancing. I have a friend that's met all the women that he's ever dated. He's only ever dated like 5 or so women across his life. Just like a normal person dates, 5 or 7 people in their life. But every woman that he met at dancing. He just took like fucking salsa classes and met women there. It's a beautiful place to meet women. So your first step might just be to go and do something that's a little bit out of your comfort zone. You don't have to meet someone, but put yourself in the place where there's an opportunity to meet people if you want to. And if you don't want to, then nothing bad happens. You can do whatever you want. So yeah, welcome to the community, my friend. And I will reply and say, I reacted to and gave advice in an upcoming video. Here we go. Welcome to the community. There you go. And I love this comment here by Trevor. You guys and girls are also incredibly, we've got to like ourselves. Did we say we're going to heart ourselves in today's episode? Fuck it, let's do it. YOLO. You guys and girls are so unbelievably kind and welcoming to each other. I really appreciate this. Half the time someone will leave a comment and before I even get a chance to reply, I mean, look, this comment was literally just left a day ago. I haven't even had time to reply and you guys and girls just jump in there and like give motivation to each other. I really fucking love this. I tell you what, Trevor, you can get a little Trevor. Great reply, mate. Love the enthusiasm. There you go. Good job. You guys and girls are so nice to each other. And nice to me too. Are we hiding? We're hiding, aren't we? I don't know why I'm asking your permission to any of you. Nina, so this is the same username as before. You're awesome, bro. Very laid back and learning a lot from you. You can have a heart. I usually don't reply if there's like not much to say, but I do really appreciate all your comments. I know a lot of the time you guys and girls will leave a comment and I'll just heart it, but I promise that I do read them. I really appreciate them. Like I just said, you guys and girls are really nice. See, I tell you what, you guys and girls are nice, but your usernames are really freaking hard. I think they're automatically given to you by YouTube when you sign up. So this was on a video, a short that I did about have you ever given to a homeless person? And I talked about some of my experiences with homeless people and sort of said, if you want to, you can try just talking to a homeless person or give them some money or just meet them and, don't feel pressure to. I didn't for most of my life, and this isn't me telling you what to do. I would never do that, but I've found it fun. If you'd like to, you can try this. And I read this comment before. This is such a fucking kick-ass comment. I saw this earlier today. I was on a business trip and I stopped by a brewery for dinner. Guy walks in that I saw outside. It wasn't crowded, but he sits right next to me at the bar and he smells like smoke. At first I was like, really? And then I remembered this video. That's cool. Apparently he is a regular. I end up talking to him after I eat. The guy is actually intelligent, has some problems, and comes in for cheap drinks after he has his foot procedure done weekly to numb the pain. We talked about a lot of stuff, his past, the places he lived, out-of-body experiences he had. That's fucking cool, man. Dude was more genuine than the people I was with in meetings for 10 hours with today. I wished him the best and headed out when I was done. That's like fucking sick, man. That's like such a fucking cool story. Such an insanely cool story. Thanks for sharing, mate. That's really cool. I love that. That's so unbelievably cool. That's like kind of the experiences that I've had. I've made friends with a few homeless people. One guy in particular, Adam. He's such a lovely human being. And like I had walked past him so many times, this guy Adam that I'm talking about. And for the longest time, like for all of my life, I was just like, I was very judgmental about homeless people. I'm sure a lot of people are. I'll tell you a story about that. I'll tell you a funny story about that in a second, actually. I have so many funny homeless people stories now, actually. There are so many homeless people where I live. I don't know if it's more than usual. It's probably the same amount as usual. It's just that I'm paying more attention to them now. Anyway, all my life, I was very judgmental of homeless people. Let's get big while I talk here. I was always like judgmental of homeless people. And I was just like, they should get a job. It's like, oh, wow, I'm sure they didn't think of that. Like, but whatever, like when you're judgmental, you're not exactly thinking deeply, are you? You're kind of just having like a knee-jerk reaction. So I'd be like, they should get a job. They should fuck off. They should go, all this kind of stuff. Very judgmental. And that's okay. If you're judgmental, that's okay. I was too. And it was only like really recently in the last couple of years that I've gone, what the hell happens if I sit down and talk to them? And funnily enough, it was Mother Teresa. I've read every Mother Teresa book that she ever wrote and some of biographies that were written about her. And that was what inspired me. I was like, well, if this chick can go to India and go to the poorest part of India that she can find in Calcutta in the slums and live in the slums and walk up to homeless people and hold their hands and be like, I love you. God loves you. Would you like some food? Then maybe I can give like $1 or $5 to some homeless person. I started doing that. And then I thought, what if I like actually sit down and talk to some of these people? And Adam was one of the first people that I ever actually talked to. And like, Jesus Christ, I've had some like insanely interesting conversations, exactly like this guy on the screen or this comment that was on the screen a second ago. I've just had some like killer conversations with people for like hours where I'm like, Jesus fuck Christ. Like I used to think that like homeless people were like, it sounds harsh, but this was my judgment. I used to think they were like beneath me or that they were like subhuman or something, or like I had these expectations of what a human should do, supposedly. And part of those expectations were like, you should have a job. You should have a home. You should contribute to society. And obviously I've let go of all of that stuff now. And it sounds sort of funny to hear myself say that, but that is how I used to think. I did used to think those things. But when I actually talked to them, I was like, oh, wow, some of these people are, if not more rational than some of the other people that I've met in my life. And so, yeah, I'm so grateful to you. Again, what was your username? CMIOVINO. Semevino. Grateful to this comment, man. This is so cool. This is such a cool story to me. Amazing. Like, thank you for sharing this, dude. This is really cool. And yeah, I've had plenty of great experiences. Oh, I said I was going to talk about a judgmental it's not super interesting. Basically, I gave money to a homeless person, and then some guy, as I'm walking away, some guy comes up to me and is all like, "Why did you give that person money?" And I was like, "What do you mean? Because I wanted to." And he was all like, "They're just going to use it for drugs, right? That's all these people do." And I was like, "Do you know what? I hope he buys the best drugs ever, and I hope he has the most beautiful experience on those drugs." And he was like, the guy was like so angry. And I was like, man, like I used to think like that. That used to be me. I used to be like, don't give money to homeless people. It just goes to drugs. It's like, so what? You gave them the money. If they want to spend it on drugs, then great. I hope they have a great fucking drug experience. God knows I've tried drugs. You know what I mean? Like, anyway. Yeah, so that wasn't that interesting a story. It did make me giggle. Imogen was with me too. And the guy was like, so angry, and I was just in the most like peaceful state of mind at that point in time. I was just like fucking on some Zen Buddhist monk shit at that point in time. I was like floating on a cloud, and it was so funny to have some guy then be like, you shouldn't do that. And I was just like, my son, I was literally like fucking Buddhist monk. I was like, my son, I really hope that he has the best drug experience of his life, and I hope he's just like off in the clouds. And the guy was like really angry, and I was like, okay, he's just believing his thoughts. He's having a bad day. Oh, this. Okay, so YouTube comments, like spam comments, get more and more creative as the years go on. You might not be able to tell at a first glance, but this is a spam comment. I get a lot of these on my... Wow, this is an old video. This is a video I did years ago. This is like one of my oldest videos, actually. Fuck it. Let's look at this video. Whoops, what did I just do? Let's look at this fucking video so you guys and girls can see what my channel used to be like. Oh, I remember here. This is the old apartment I used to live in. Cute. Adorable. Oh, I was reacting to some advice. Yeah, I remember this. I didn't even... You probably can't see. Here we go. I didn't even show myself on the video as I'm reacting to it. Wow. I'm way more professional now. Look at me. I'm down in the corner of the video. Way more professional. Anyway, so someone left a comment on that video from years ago saying blah, 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 just like a bunch of crap. And then they go, I learned this exact technique by Googling. And then this. So who the fuck is this person? So this is a spam. You're supposed to Google this and this is spam. Because you can't just link to anything anymore if you're a spam comment, because YouTube's spam filter will pick up on it. But I tell you what, do we really want to give a shout out? Fuck it, let's do it. Come on, you're going to spam us. We're going to have a look at what you're spamming us with. Total blowjob mastery. Oh, God, what am I getting myself into? I don't want to know how to give a blowjob. What is this? What is this? Ever thought about giving him a blowjob that will have him screaming, "Oh my God," as he reaches an incredibly mind-blowing orgasm? Okay, funnily enough, Imogen improved her blowjob skills. When I first met her, when she was 18, she was like okay at giving a blowjob, and it was something that was important to her. I think I said to her, "Would you like to practice blowjobs?" And I think she practiced and got really good. So maybe she can give a total BJ mastery course. Anyway, how much is your course going to cost me? What is all this? Click here to start. Come on, tell us the blowjob. Also, how do you give a blowjob course online? I feel like that's something that'd be better off practiced. I guess you could give the skills. What is this shit? Oh, God. This stuff makes me like... $47. All right, $47 to learn how to give a blowjob. Not too bad. Anyway, why the fuck... What am I doing with my life? Why am I reading this? So yeah, the point is people do spam comments where it looks like a normal comment, but they're like, go Google this piece of shit person. That was very judgmental of me. This piece of shit comment. Report. What should we report him for? Child abuse. Yeah, I'm a child and I was abused by this. Unwanted commercial spam. So as a YouTuber, you get a decent amount of like spam like this. I can't even imagine what it must be like to be someone like Mr. Beast. That must just be insane. Where people like impersonate your channel and impersonate you and like scam your audience and stuff. Must just be so much of that. So all these comments are on this same short. Hey, the short got a decent amount of comments. Bumblebee7354 says, if you do that shit in my country, as in, give money to a homeless person, you're most likely going to get your wallet stolen. Obviously, I'd say, like, you don't have to do it. There's lots of comments that people leave where it's just like, there's nothing that really I can say back. I'm just like, okay. So I appreciate the comments, but like, I don't really have anything. I tell you what, you can have a heart. I said I was going to heart and like everyone today. You can get a heart. Kevin Duvold1137 says, Jesus loves you. He died for your sins. That's nice. Repent your sins. I mean, I've tried to be pretty like open and honest and talk about my past and some of the things I did that I would do differently now. Yeah. Believe in him, you shall not perish but have eternal life. Bro, I don't know. Hey, like, let me get real serious for a second. I don't know about this eternal life shit. Stop and actually think about eternal life. That means that everyone I care about, I have to watch them die, or I have to live with them forever. It's like that Batman quote. Either you die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become a villain. And yeah, it's just like a silly meme and shit, but I don't know if I actually want eternal life. Like, Jesus is chill as fuck. Like, I really like this Jesus guy. Jesus is like some top shit. Jesus is like very high up on the map of consciousness, which lots of you will hear me talk about from time to time. But I don't know about eternal life shit. I wouldn't mind a longer life, but I'm quite happy with the life that I'm being given. So, yeah. You're the right soul, I could tell. That's nice. Believing in him, your life will change. Trust me. Well, I'm not going to trust you. Anyone that says trust me, I immediately don't trust. I can't really trust you if you say trust me. If you just like didn't say trust me, then maybe I would trust you. But yeah, I can tell whenever I meet someone that's like very fanatical about their religion, I can see the sweetness in it. Like, they believe that Jesus is nice to them. I think that's beautiful. I've read like half of the Bible at this point. I've read a lot of Christian mysticism books, and obviously everything Mother Teresa wrote. Read everything like Thomas A. Kempis wrote and bits and pieces like that. So Saint Teresa of Avila, all of those people, they all like Jesus. Jesus seems like a swell guy. You know what? You're getting that. Jesus seems like, what do you reckon? Not that any of you can reply to me. Jesus seems like a swell guy, or Jesus seems like a chill dude? I honestly think of Jesus as a chill dude. Like straight up just like, also, come on, there's got to be, what emoji can we use? What's the like namaste emoji, if any of you know what I'm talking about? With the little hands together. There we go. Namaste emoji. Fuck it, bro. You can have namaste emojis on both sides of your comment. How sweet is that? That's kick-ass. You can have a heart and a like. Jesus seems like a chill dude. But yeah, I think of Jesus as a chill dude, where he's like, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Bro, that's chill as fuck. When he's on the cross, motherfuckers like shoved this guy on a cross and like nailed his hands and feet, and he's all like, forgive them, Father. They know what they do. That's some chill shit, dude. Imagine you got crucified and you're just like, hey, they're doing the best that they can. They're just believing their own stories, but they're doing the best they can. They're trying their hardest. God or Dad, please don't be mad at them. That's some chill shit. So I think Jesus is a chill dude. I'm going to heart my own comment on that one. I definitely deserve a heart. That was good. Nice. 69. 69 is the nice number. We're being a little silly with my replies, aren't I? All right, I'll be a little more serious with my replies, ladies and gentlemen. I promise. When I was down, so this is again on the Ever Given to a Homeless Person video. When I was down in 2014, after breaking up with my high school sweetheart of 12 years, I would go out on my mountain bike at night, buy a bunch of food, and go to the park near home where the homeless set up shop. They were surprisingly kind and understanding of my troubles. That's chill as fuck, bro. It did change my outlook on them. One guy had gathered enough money for a tall can and smokes, so he was going a few blocks to buy it. He asked if I needed anything. I handed him a 20 and asked for 3 packs of Tall Boys. He came back with them and the exact change, so I gave him the change back. That's chill as fuck, dude. Yeah, there's... Let me reply to this and then I'll say what I was going to say. Dude, that's really awesome. Put a big smile on my face. Appreciate you sharing. That's awesome. What was I going to say? Yeah, one of the homeless guys that I've made friends with, Adam, he gives money to other homeless people because he's got more than enough for him to survive. So he's like, okay, this is going to sound it's going to sound funny. I've teased it for a long time that I might get Adam on the podcast. It's just that he's like a bit unreliable. He keeps saying he'll come on, but it's almost going to have to be me forcing him to come on. I think I might have to do that at some point. And he lives a busy life and he does like quite a lot of shit, even though he's homeless. And so I think I might have to like get in there and schedule with him. But the only problem is he doesn't keep a calendar and he's a bit like, yeah, anyway, it's probably more on me. If I want him to come on the podcast, I probably just have to take fucking handheld microphones and go sit with him and be like, all right, let's just sit where you are, dude. Do you want to just record it here? So maybe I'll do that one day. But anyway, this is going to sound funny, but if I ever get him on camera, you'll understand what I mean. He's really good at being a homeless person. He's like elite at being homeless. And that might sound weird as fuck, but it's like he's just really good at being homeless. He has like a nice little sign. It's on cardboard, but it looks really pretty. The way he dresses is sort of like bohemian, like hippie, if you get what I mean by that. Like this kind of style. Like any of these. I mean, God, okay. This one here, actually, see this one here? I don't know if you guys and girls can see. I know it's kind of like slightly cut off. Let me move it. This one here with the black hair. Imagine that hair is white. Okay, this is actually creeping me out. Holy fuck. Imagine that hair is white. That actually looks a lot like Adam. I might even send that picture to Imogen and be like, yo, who does this remind you of? And she'll be like, Adam. Anyway, that actually looks a lot like Adam, but Adam has gray hair. The face looks very similar too. This is like freaking me the fuck out. I swear to God, I just searched Google for Bohemian man. Bohemian hippie guy. Okay, that's really weird. Anyway, Adam looks like that, but with gray hair. That's really weird. But Adam's like really, really, really good at being homeless. He's just like super chill. He will sit there like with his legs crossed, like he's meditating or some shit. And he'll sit on this nice little towel, this like little bohemian rug, and he will just sit there where people go past and he's just like super chill. And he'll kind of just stare straight ahead. Like he'll just be like looking off into the distance and he'll just sit there peacefully, like not moving until somebody comes and talks to him. And then he'll be like, hi. And he's like super excitable and he's super energetic. He literally looks like the picture that I just showed on the screen. He literally looks like that freaking smiley. That looks like him. So he has like two states. Either he's like peaceful and meditative and zen, or he's like happy like that picture I just showed you. And so he's like very approachable and he's unbelievably kind and happy and generous. And he makes friends with like all the kids that walk past. He makes friends with all the old ladies. He just has like, I swear to God, like 100 friends or something. Basically, anytime I sit with him, because sometimes Imogen and I, or just me by myself, I'll sit next to him and just talk to him for an hour while people like come and go. And while I'm sitting there, like fucking other people will come and sit there too. And they'll be like, oh, hey, Adam, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. He's just like super chill and super happy. It's almost like he's more I don't know. It's almost like he just doesn't want a home rather than he's homeless. But I have talked to him and I'm like, why are you homeless? Like, why don't you have a home? Like, bro, you're so chill, you're so happy. And it's, I'd rather him explain it than me, but I think he's half homeless by choice and half not by choice. I'll just phrase it like that. I'll leave it to him if he ever comes on the podcast to explain it better than that. But yeah, Adam's like ridiculously good at being homeless. And so, anyway, the point that I'm getting back to is because of that, he gets a lot of money. Like, people, it's very easy to give him money because he's super lovely, he's super kind. He, I don't think he has any, at least not severe mental struggles that he's struggling with. And so, he's a very safe homeless person. And I understand that sometimes some of us might not feel safe around homeless people. You know, I have homeless people around here that walk around like screaming and shouting and stuff like that. Funnily enough, I've tried to like let go of my preconceived notions and make friends with some of them. And the funniest thing that ever happened was I was walking one morning and I was on the phone to Imogen. So I'm kind of just like talking to Imogen and I'm like, oh, hang on, baby. Hang on just a second. Stop talking for a second. There's a guy like screaming at me, 100 meters away. And he's just like screaming. He's off his head. He's just like yelling at me, screaming like, I'm going to fucking kill you, cunt. Like, I'm going to punch your face. Like, so just hang on a second while I figure this out. And so he's just like screaming at me, like looking at me, screaming at me. And when I get a bit closer, I give him a big smile and I'm like, hey man, how's your day going? And Imogen hears this and she's giggling in the phone when she hears me say that. And as soon as I say, hey man, how's your day going? He's like, oh yeah, no, I'm going real good. Thanks for asking. Yeah, nah, cheers. And then I walk off and he's fine. So yeah, I'm not necessarily saying that everybody should go up to someone that's screaming at them, but I've still had some amazing experiences. And I'm not saying it's always going to be like that, but if it's not, then that's okay. I'll deal with it. And the worst that happens is they stab me and I die. And then cool, congratulations, I had a cool life. So yeah, but the point is Adam is very good at being homeless. And so he gives money to other homeless people. So I'm telling you all that because that's kind of related to this story here. This guy, you gave him some money and then he brought back exact change. That's kind of shit that Adam does. He like will give his money to other people. Some of the homeless people come up to him and ask him for money while he's literally sitting there with his sign getting money. And he just like freely gives it out. We had a conversation about that because he's like, I don't know why everyone's so nice to me. And I was like, bro, are you fucking serious? Like, it's because you're nice to them. Like, the universe is a mirror. And he's like, that's a beautiful way of phrasing it, man. I've always believed in karma. And, if I'm good to other people, maybe they'll be good back to me. And I'm like, yeah, bro, like I did a video called The Universe is a Mirror. And if you're nice to other people, yeah, they want to give that back to you. So yeah, I love that, man. That's a really cool story. Thank you for sharing that. All right. So this was on a video that Cam did on Your Dating Questions Answered Part 2. And this was by one of the coaching clients or the old coaching clients that we had in the coaching program. What's up, Cam? I've heard you talk about the blast and cruise phases of online dating. So what Cam is talking about there is Cam usually, and you know what, when I think of it, I usually kind of do the same thing actually. He will go through a period of like blasting. By the way, take a step back. Blast and cruise is a phrase that people use when they take steroids. Like bodybuilders use this phrase. So blast means you take a fuckload of steroids and you do that for, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, 16 weeks, 20 weeks, whatever amount of time you want. And then the cruise is where you go down to just a dose of steroids that's enough to maintain the muscle that you have and not, atrophy your muscle. But it's not like blasting. You're not going crazy. So you go through a blast and a cruise and a blast and a cruise. And the reason why in bodybuilding you wouldn't just blast all year around is because there can be more side effects. There might be more long-term health effects. And you might not be able to maintain that intensity in the gym and with your eating and with your training and with your discipline and all of that if you just do it 24/7. So blasting and cruising is kind of something that most bodybuilders do. But yeah. So I kind of do the same thing with dating, and Cam definitely does, where, you might be going through a period where maybe there's no women in your life, or if you're a woman, we have a woman in the coaching program who did this herself. She was single and she was like, I want to do open relationships. I want to date a couple of people, have some, non-monogamous relationships. And so she kind of did a quote blast, I guess you would say. She went on a bunch of dates with people. Some people she liked, some people she didn't. Some people she went on 2 dates with. Some people she built into something more and they had sex and, built something from that. But she basically went through the thing of like, let me meet a bunch of people and then I'll meet some people. Some of them I'll keep seeing and then I'm done. And then I'll take a break. And if those people stop seeing me or I stop seeing them, then yeah, maybe I'll jump back into it and meet a couple new people and we'll go from there. So that's something that I've always done. And it's something that Cam's done too. I think that's what most people do, right? Because you meet a couple of people, you like them, you keep seeing them or they keep seeing you. And then you don't necessarily want to go and meet more people because you're seeing as many people as you want to see. So yeah, I think it's pretty normal. But what I'm trying to know, but I'm trying to know how long you typically blast before you start cruising. Do you keep trying to get girls' numbers until you're actually meeting some of them in real life, or do you stop earlier? It feels like I'm talking to more girls than I even want to date, thanks. So the answer to this question is going to be do whatever you want. Like find out what's right for you. And so, you might have 10 women's phone numbers in your phone, and maybe that's enough for you. You work through them, you see which one of them want to meet up with you, you see which one of them you have chemistry with, which people you click with and they click with you, and you do that. And then when you've gone through all of them, you might have met some of them, you might be dating and sleeping with some of them, or you might not have clicked with all 10 of them, and then you can just go meet more people. You can go get some more phone numbers. So play it by ear. Like there's no right answer. I know your question is like you're specifically asking Cam, not me. I mean, I've done the same thing anyway, so I can answer this question, but you're basically saying, Cam, what do you do? So if you give a crap what I, Andy, do, I usually just keep meeting people I usually keep getting as many phone numbers as I possibly can until I'm happy with who I'm meeting. Like, does that make sense? So I don't go like, oh, I have 10 women's phone numbers in my phone. I'm going to stop meeting more people or I'm going to stop getting more phone numbers, because if I get 10 phone numbers in my phone, only 3 of them might end up meeting me. And there might only be chemistry with 2 or 1 of those people, especially when you think about the fact that Imogen and I date women together. So now there's 2 of us that have to like that person, and she has to like 2 separate people. So there's even more chances that you might not have chemistry, and we're both pretty open-minded and we screen for open-minded people. So I'd say we have chemistry with 80% of people, maybe 75% of people, maybe 50%. I don't know. Maybe it's more like 50%, 50%. That's still pretty high. And so, yeah, I would just get as many phone numbers as I possibly can until I feel like I'm meeting people that I like and that I click with. Because I understand that the vast majority of phone numbers that I get, I won't end up clicking with and dating that person. So at the end of the day, just do whatever you want. I'll reply to this. I'm not Cam, but I answered this in an upcoming video. Short version. Do whatever you want / whatever works for you. In other words, feel free to experiment. He knows this already. Like I said, he was one of my coaching clients. So yeah, and he had plenty of success. He was really cool. I don't think he'd mind me saying this because it's not exactly doxing, but he had this like amazing fucking voice. He sounded like he had a voice that was fit for the radio. And we would say that all the time. We'd be like, dude, like, I swear to God, man, you could just like work at a radio station, or you could record audiobooks and get paid, like be a voice actor, or you could just like record erotica. And I'm pretty sure it was him. Who a woman said she wanted him to speak dirty to him and read like erotic fiction. Was it him or was it someone else? I might be thinking of someone else. I can't remember. Anyway, this guy had a cool fucking voice. All right, so this was on a video where a community post where I basically said like, what do you guys and girls all want? Hawkins4791 says, I want to fall in love with a beautiful girl, have a great sex life, get married, have kids, and raise a family together. That's a good start. That's like epic goals. Epic goals. Now break them down into smaller baby steps and take action each day, week. Love those goals. There you go. Love those goals. Contentious Point says, and if she's enthusiastic about 3-ways, that's a big plus. No, my friend. I'll tell you what is a big plus. Stalling for time. I'll tell you what's a big plus. The flag of Norway. That's a big plus, my friend. I'm going to hell for that shit joke, aren't I? I amuse myself. Patrick Williams 997 says, love your content, guys, and super happy some fellow Aussies are slaying at life. Good job. Happy Australia Day. For yesterday. It was Australia Day for yesterday, which I believe commemorates, I don't even know, commemorates the first jar of Vegemite in this country. What does Australia Day commemorate? I actually don't know. I genuinely don't know. What a lovely looking couple. Oh, this is from Dark Knight 526, who comments on like most videos. What a lovely looking couple. What do I want? Currently to lose all the excess weight I have. Make it happen, brother. Try dry fasting. Or John McTurnan says, try dry fasting. I did 7 days, way better than water fasting, and it won't stir your hunger like water. I've done a couple of fasts now. I did a 3-day fast and a 5-day fast. It isn't necessarily something I would recommend to people because I think it can be very easy to then like binge eat at the end of it, especially if you're fasting with force, like you're forcing yourself, you're using willpower and motivation. I did my fasts not really for weight loss. I did them more for like spiritual reasons or because I wanted to see what would happen. So if you're going to fast, I would always recommend, or I would recommend trying to have a positive mindset about it. Like, I'm going to go in and I'm just going to fast and see what happens, but I'm not going to force myself to do 7 days. And if I want to start eating after 3 days, I will. If I want to eat after 1 day, I will. So I'd go into it without willpower or forcing, but that's just my take. Expert cheek clapper says, what do you think is the best way to overcome the feeling of always needing to catch up with people who weren't late bloomers or who were always good with girls? So I've covered this a lot. I'll read out the rest of your question first, but yeah, I've covered this a lot. That's my dating question if you're doing another one. Awesome video. So yeah, I've covered this a lot. Basically, probably the best place to start with is this video I did a couple years ago called Do You Feel Like You Missed Out on Your 20s? So I would go and check that out where I covered this in detail. And Cam also did a video on my channel fairly recently, a couple of months ago, called Feel Like You Missed Out on the College Experience. And don't worry about whether or not you feel like you missed out on the college experience or whether or not you feel like you missed out on the 20s. These are just general, like both of these videos are relevant to your question. If you feel like you've missed out in life, and you can watch all the interviews I've done with past coaching clients as well. Lots of them felt like they missed out, and so you can hear from them. But another thing I would do is on my channel, you can just watch this video called Comparing Yourself to Others is a Waste of Time. And if you go onto my Spotify, which has extra content, on top of what's here on YouTube, there's a Spotify episode called Comparing Yourself to Others. And I literally talked about why comparing yourself to others doesn't really help you. It just ends up holding you back. So yeah, there'll always be someone that's better than you, so to speak. There'll always be someone that's ahead of you. There'll always be someone that has something that you don't have. You will always technically be late. And when you can really wrap your head around that epiphany that there will always be someone who did it earlier than you, even if you had somehow, been good with women when you were like 16 years old in high school. Like imagine you're the jock in high school. Let's say you're 14. You've barely even hit puberty and you're suddenly just naturally good with women, right? You might be like, wow, I'm so cool. I was always good with women. Well, there's probably some guy out there who was good with women from 13 and a half. There's probably some kid who was like 2 years old and all the girls liked him. And yeah, you're probably not, well, I would hope that you're not having sex at 2, but like all the girls thought he was cool and they liked him and he had lots of female friends. So therefore he was good with girls. Like there's always going to be someone that was good with women earlier than you, no matter what. And the same thing applies to money. Even if you literally are Jeff Bezos and you have like $150 billion, congratulations. Elon Musk has more money than you, so you're not the best. And that will just always be the case. And even if you somehow are the best, which you're not, like, come on, you're just expert cheek clapper. And I'm just Andy. I'm just some random cunt on the internet. And you're just some random cunt leaving a comment on some random cunt's video on the internet. We're just random fucking people, right? We're probably not the best. We don't need to be. You can be if you want to, but I don't really care about being the best. But we're just random people and we're probably not going to be the best. You're probably not going to be the best that a woman has ever had. Or if you're a woman, you're probably not going to be the most attractive woman that your husband or your boyfriend will ever see. Like you're probably just not. probably not going to have the most amount of money. You're probably not going to be the coolest person that your friends ever meet. You're probably not going to be the best person that works at the job that you're at. Like, you're probably just not going to be the best. And so if you can really wrap your head around that, you can then realize, all right, if I'm comparing myself to someone else, if I compare myself to others, I will always lose. I will always find someone who's supposedly better than me. And so why would I even play that game? It's one of those things where it's like the way to play is to, or the way to win is to not even play the game in the first place. So yeah, go watch those videos. Like I said, if you want to. This one here, feeling like you missed out on your 20s, and this other one, comparing yourself to others is a waste of time. And then this podcast here, like I said, comparing yourself to others, that's on Spotify, by the way. But yeah, I've covered this a lot. Comparing yourself to others is something that I cover a lot. Covered in a future upcoming vid. There you go, my friend. I read this one. I don't know that I'll necessarily read it up. Basically, some guy applied to the coaching program and then was like, did you get my application? So I guess I'll write, we got your application. Yep. Already replied to him. Done. This was on a video called Sexual Anxiety Ruining Your Sex Life. And Dreadbuck1 says, I've had that happen before 2 separate times where a girl would just sit on my lap. I could never tell if it was a flex for them or like they wanted to tease me or they wanted me to make a move. Okay, so anytime, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you a big fucking secret here. It's going to blow your mind. Anytime you are not sure what someone is doing, especially the opposite sex in dating or relationships or love or anything like that, if you're not sure what they're doing, you are allowed to, if you want to, ask them. Literally, you can just say, yo, are you trying to tease me right now? Or do you want me to make a move? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you sitting on my lap? You can just say, how come you're sitting on my lap? You can say, I get the feeling you want me to make a move. Is that true? Or am I just like misreading it? If I'm misreading it, feel free to tell me. Like, no stress. But yeah, like, do you want me to make a move? Do you want to kiss me right now? Do you want me to kiss you right now? Are you sitting there hoping I'll kiss you? You could just ask. You say, the first time I just started playing with the girl's hair and another girl accused me of being so creepy. So I bombed that one. Well, there is no bombed. Like, what is bombed? How did you bomb? Like, what is bombed? You played with her hair and someone else called you creepy. So what? There is no mistake, man. Like, there is no failure. There's just learning. I don't think you bombed anything. I don't think you did anything right or wrong. But if you want to next time, like I said, you can just be like, yo, why are you sitting on my lap? Are you making a move on me? Do you want me to make a move on you? You can just be autistically honest, as I call it. And then the second, I just ignored it, and so did everyone else. Really weird. Well, you're allowed to, like I said, you're allowed to just, if you want to, ask. That's all I ever do. It's what I encourage all my clients to do. You'll see that in this community, we talk about radical honesty, or I call it autistic honesty. If you're ever not sure about something, just ask rather than trying to guess. How would you even guess? And I know you're not saying it here, but I will often get questions where it's like someone will lay out like this. They'll tell me what happened. They'll lay it all out for me. I know you didn't ask me, but they will then say, other people will then say, so what do you think she was thinking? And I'm like, bro, I don't have a fucking mind reading machine. Like, what do you mean? What do I think she was thinking? I don't know. Just next time, ask her. Just say, what are you thinking? What's in that pretty little head of yours? What are you doing? Why are you sitting on my lap? Do you want something? Are you making a move on me? I just want to be very clear because, like, you can kind of literally just pretend you're autistic. I'm someone that's probably on the spectrum. I've never gotten tested because I don't really give a fuck, but I don't know. I've never been able to read that shit. So I just say like, yo, what is this? Like, just so I'm not misreading, how come you're sitting on my lap? But if I put pressure on myself to mind read or to try and read the situation or to try and like figure out the cues, it's like, bro, I can't mind read. And people aren't very clear with their cues or their indicators. As you can see here, like the first girl, you have no idea what the fuck she's doing. The second girl, you have no idea what the fuck she's doing, so you just ignore it. Like people aren't even obvious when they're doing something. Like you might ask her and she might be like, no, I'm just sitting on your lap because I want to. Or she might be like, yeah, I kind of do want you to make a move. You have no way of knowing until you ask. And even then she might not be honest, and that's okay. Then it's up to you what you want to do with that. If she can't tell you why she's sitting on your lap, then maybe you don't spend time with that person. I personally like to screen for people that can give me honest answers when I ask autistic questions. Like when I say, how come you're sitting on my lap? Do you want me to make a move? If she's like, ha ha ha, like, don't worry about it. I'm like, all right, well, that's not someone that I want to spend time with. I want to find the people that can be autistically honest like me. And you can do that if you want to, or you can not do that if you want to. Like, it's entirely up to you. But I'm giving you permission, if you want to, that you're allowed to just ask. Answered in an upcoming video. And then I tell you what, we'll answer one more question. And then I think we'll cut this off, and maybe I'll do a part 2 in the future. But there'll be plenty more questions from you guys and girls. So I'm happy to make this a regular thing, by the way, if you guys and girls like me answering these questions, if you find this interesting. I'm also doing this as much for me as any of you, because it's easier than me going in and trying to reply manually. I'm someone that gets really passionate, and I care very deeply about like all of you guys and girls and your happiness and your goals. And I get very excited. And so if someone writes a long reply, you've seen it before in the past. I'll write like a fucking 10-paragraph answer back to that comment. And then I'm like, okay, I did that. Oh God, there's like 50 more comments to do now across like all the different videos. Oh my God, like I'm never going to be able to reply to all of these. And I was kind of putting a lot of pressure on myself that I had to either answer everyone, or I had to answer with less, answer in a shorter way. But I think this is a nice solution to that. I still get to answer everybody's questions. I still get to interact with all of you. And obviously, if you want me to answer your question properly, the easiest way to do that is to just jump on a coaching call with me. I do offer one-off coaching calls. You can sit down with me for a couple of hours for $200, and I can answer any of your questions. So if I ever don't get to a question, that's probably the easiest way. And obviously, I'll care a lot more about you if you pay me $200 compared to if it's just a YouTube comment. I still care about you, but like, you can obviously put more love and time and care and gratitude into the person that helps pay your bills. So if that's something you're interested in, there's a link down below to that. But yeah, I like answering your questions. I like connecting with all of you. All right, let's go to a different person that we haven't answered just for the last one. Great video, thanks. Let's blast through a couple. How did you find your date spot? That's for Cam. Thanks for the video, Budget Andy. People call Cam the Budget Andy because he looks a lot like me. We do look very similar. I will give you that. Good video. Some interesting ideas. Kind regards from Germany. Hello, my German friend. There's a big fucking portion of the audience that are from Germany, by the way. And I noticed the same thing on my blog. Germany's like the 3rd or the 4th highest like viewership by country. So I always find that interesting. Lots of Germans. Hello, fellow Germans. We've had a few Germans in the coaching program as well. We had a German couple that Imogen and I coached together as part of the program. That was really fun. They were lovely. I liked both of them. They're still in the members only community in the Discord, and they're still kicking ass. Let's do an easy one. Let's do an easy one to finish up. All right, let's do Dark Knight 526. So this was on a video, like a coaching interview that I did with one of my clients, and he was 29 years old, and basically he was like 2 weeks away from his 30th birthday when he was in the coaching program, and he was like, I'm gonna lose my virginity before I'm 30. And then he did it like literally the next day. I think it was like 15 hours later or something. He lost his virginity. So Dark Knight says, imagine stalling your virginity for 29 years, and then when you committed to losing your virginity, you do it the next day. You guys have the 6-week losing your virginity course, but is there one for doing it the next day? Lol. Yeah, this is one of those things where, and this applies to every goal, a lot of the time when we give ourselves permission to go for the goal, or when we declare it to ourselves or to our friends or to the universe, when we say, I'm going to do this thing, or I want to do this thing, we then start shifting around our entire life, and the rest of the world seems to shift itself around our goal as well. But, we start making it a priority, and we'll go, okay, like, fuck it, I'm going to go outside and talk to some women. I'm going to go on this dating app and talk to people. You start moving your life around to reprioritize, to reorganize around the goal. And like I said, it feels like the rest of the universe does the same thing for you. As soon as you put it out there into the world, it's like some hippie shit, but it's true. As soon as you put it out there in the world and declare, I want to lose my virginity, your friends might hear that and go, fuck it, bro, I'll help you. How can I help? I'll come with you and wingman for you. Or I know this single girl. Do you want to meet her? Or, yeah, bro, I believe in you. You can do this. And obviously, everyone in the coaching group, me and the other coaches and everybody in the group, he says to us, I'm setting this as a goal. I want this to happen. And then all of us gather around and go, great, how can we make this happen? You guys and girls in the community might be like, awesome, I hope he does it. And so it feels like you yourself and the entire rest of the world reorganize to try and make this thing happen. And so, yeah, you do get things like this where someone will say, I haven't done this for 29 years, but I'm finally ready. I'm going to do it. This is my fuck it moment. Fuck it, I'm going to do this. Fuck it, I'm going to go all in. And then it just magically happens. It feels like magic, but it's really just that you declared it to yourself, to your friends and family, to the people that believe in you, and to the greater universe as well. And sometimes with some goals, you literally tell people who can then give you that thing. Like, for something like money, that's probably the most obvious one. If you just declare, I want to make $5,000 this month, you will then tell that story to some of your potential clients or your friends and your family. And they're like, fuck it, I want to help you. That sounds like a really cool goal. I love that. You know what? I wasn't going to buy your product, or I was thinking about it, but yeah, screw it. Let's do it, man. I've noticed this myself so many times when I say to all of you, all right, I have this goal to pay off my tax debt, or I have this goal to make like $50,000 this month or $20,000 or whatever it might be. Let's make this happen. Let's go hard this month. A bunch of people will literally, just because I said it's a goal, they'll go, screw it, man. I want to help you with this goal. Then we can both win together. You can give me coaching. I get to feel like I gave you money and helped you with your goal. We both benefit. We both win. Win-win. Isn't that amazing? Let's do it. And so, yeah, this happens a lot. This is very common. This is kind of how goals work. As soon as you make a declaration to the universe, or to yourself, really, as soon as you say, this is important to me, it really feels like the universe conspires to make it happen for you, or other people jump in and conspire to help make it happen for you. I don't know what you're referring to here, but I agree. I'm just going to say I agree. Whenever someone says something that I don't know, I'm just like, I agree. Good job. All right, 54, 55, 40. Yeah, the lone wolf memes. So I was talking about how a lot of people, but particularly a lot of men, will view themselves as a lone wolf, and they'll go, I have to go through life completely by my own. Nobody can help me. I can never ask for help because that's weak. I'm going to do it all on my own. And that's a very common thing. But understand, or at least I've come to see in my own life and all of my coaching clients, it's great to be a lone wolf for a while, and that definitely helps, and it gives you something. It's beautiful to show yourself that you can be a lone wolf, but at some point, every single man that I've ever coached and that I've seen, and me myself, eventually they get to a point where they're like, fuck, okay, fine. I did the lone wolf thing, and that was an amazing chapter of my life. It was beautiful. It taught me so much independence, so much stoicism. It taught me the value of my own hard work and what I'm capable of. And I love that. I'm so glad I did that. But man, I think I would achieve 10 times more if I let other men help me and give me advice, and other women too. Like if I let people help me. And I think, I point out that men usually do this because women, for the most part, don't usually go down the route of being a lone wolf. They're like, yeah, I love women supporting me, or I love men. I love people supporting me. It really helps. But I think lots of guys go down the lone wolf path. And again, it can be incredibly useful for a while, but I've just seen in everyone, there's eventually a next step after that. You've done the lone wolf thing. You've learned everything that you needed to learn from being a lone wolf. It's really benefited you. And then you go, fuck it, right? Time to be a wolf amongst the pack, or whatever you want to call it. So yeah, I love it. You go on to say, Arnold Schwarzenegger said it himself. He's not a self-made man, and don't call him that. Yeah, I say this all the time. Like, everything that I've done, me in my own life, don't give me credit. Like, give my family credit, give my friends credit, give all of yourselves credit for being there for me. Give all of my coaching clients who paid my bills credit. Give my therapists that I had, when I was depressed and suicidal. Give my coaches credit. Like, all the books that I've read. Like, I've read, I don't even know, probably 500 self-help books, maybe more than that. I don't even know at this point. And YouTube content, in terms of self-help content, I've watched I couldn't even guess. Let's just make up some random number, 5,000 videos of self-help, because I will often just have them on in the background. Basically all day I have self-help videos on in the background. Maybe less so now. I have a lot more meditative music, or just nothing at all. But I'll still throughout the day have random YouTube videos that are motivational and stuff like that in the background, or audio books from Byron Katie or any of those sort of people. So yeah, it's I didn't do all that. And all the idea, I've talked about this before, but all the ideas in my head, when I sit down and do a video or a podcast or an article, I didn't think of that idea. The idea was just in my head, but I didn't go, oh, I should think of a really good idea for a podcast. And then I should, and it should be about sex and dating. And it should be that, like, the idea just pops in my head, like divine intervention. And lots of the Christian mysticism books that I've read about the ancient, Catholic mystics, the people that I reference a lot of the time, St. John of the Cross, all those people, they talk about like, it's like, you can call it God, you can just call it divine intervention, you can call it whatever the hell you want. I just call it like consciousness itself, but whatever you want to call it. It's like divine intervention is just putting that idea in your head. You didn't think of that idea. You can tell yourself you did, and your ego wants you to believe that you thought of the idea. Comedians are really good people to talk to about this, by the way. If you say to a comedian, yo, where do you get your jokes? They're going to be like, I don't fucking know. Like, I just do the things that help inspire me. Like, I will sit down with a pen and paper, or I'll go for a walk, or I'll brainstorm. But like, the idea just comes into my head for the joke. And artists kind of figure out the same thing, or they know the same thing. Most people who are creative will say it's about setting up the conditions that allow ideas to come into your head. So everyone has their own process. Some people are logical and structural about it. Other people just go and get inspired by life. I kind of myself do a mix of both, but it's about setting up the conditions for that to happen. The same way that if you're growing a plant, you don't technically grow the plant. What you do is you set up the perfect conditions or the correct conditions for that plant to grow itself. It's kind of like that. So any ideas I might have, all I really did was set the conditions for that idea to flourish like a flower, and then boom, that it happens. So yeah, you go on to say, if the best bodybuilder of all time turned high-profile actor turned governor of California who married a Kennedy said he couldn't do it without a community, what makes you think a normie would? Yeah. And there's plenty of things you can do by yourself. Obviously, that's why the lone wolf thing exists, because you can be a lone wolf and still be pretty successful. I just, in my own life, found that I was even more successful when I wasn't the lone wolf. And all of my clients have found the same thing. So yeah, such a great, thoughtful comment. Appreciate it. Dark Knight always leaves like probably some of the best comments on the channel, honestly. Like, look, here he is again. He just like leaves comments on like every video. He always writes like really well thought out comments, and he always writes them for himself, which I think is really cool. Like, he'll summarize the video for himself, and you can see his like brain ticking in him, almost like he's like keeping a diary of things that he's learning. And he timestamps like this. So that's like a really good way. By the way, if this guy was a coaching client of mine, I would be like, this is exactly what I encourage my coaching clients to do. My coaching clients, the ones that make the most progress, will like take notes and shit like that, exactly like this. They'll like rewatch the coaching calls that we do because they're all recorded and they can watch them at their own leisure afterwards. And they'll like take notes and shit like this. And they'll post in the coaching group and they'll be like, hey, that coaching call that we just had, I've summarized it. Here's what I got from it. And I'm like, fuck yeah, you're going to make the most progress. It's something that I always did myself at every job that I worked. I would have a little tiny pen and paper, a little tiny little notebook, like about the size of my hand, and a little tiny pen. And I'd keep them in my pocket. And I would just, as the managers or whatever were talking to me, I'd pull it out and I'd be like, hang on. Yep. Sorry. Keep going. Yep. Blah, 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 blah. And then I'd ask a question. I'd be like, do you mean this? And they go, yeah. And then I'd be like, oh, okay. And I've always done that. I've done that in job interviews. I just have a little fucking notebook, pull it out, write it down, keep notes, and then I can just flick through that. And then I'll re-summarize my own notes like over the weeks. And then I can be crystal clear about what it is that's being expected of me or what they're telling me or the best way to do the job or whatever that might be. And I find that my coaching clients that take notes or keep notes, oh my God, they make like 1,000 times more progress than anyone else. I did a whole video in the coaching program. Part of the coaching program is we have a bunch of videos that sort of, the coaching program is basically a course in itself on top of coaching. Like, we have an entire course that you flow through and that you go through, a whole bunch of videos and shit like that you go through. And a big part of that is to hold your hand through the coaching and help you make the most of it. And then we have videos on like what to do after the coaching's ended. And obviously it's basically like a lifelong coaching program because you get to go in the Discord, the members only group anyway. But we have videos on like how to make the most of it. And in that first video, like one of the first videos is called How to Get the Most Out of Coaching, something like that. And I literally have in there stuff like write stuff down, make notes, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I love seeing Dark Knight do that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope this was fun. This was a blast for me. I'll probably do more of these. I think this is honestly the most effective way for me to answer all your questions. And I get to feel like I connect with you. Maybe you guys and girls get to feel like you connect with me. It is a bunch of fun. Like I said, if you want to connect with me even more, I have $200 coaching calls and we have a hardcore coaching program, which I will tell you about in a second. As always, ladies and gentlemen, go out there and crush those. What do you need to crush? Do you know? You got to crush those goals. If you've been wanting an amazing, awesome, elite sex life, tons of threesomes, plenty of wild adventures, and great memories with awesome people, we would love to help you get there. Here's just a little bit of what our coaching clients have achieved in their time in the program. Renee had a threesome in just his second week of coaching, had a woman write him a love letter, and he went on to have sex with 12 women in just 12 weeks of coaching. Corky had his first threesome, slept with 7 amazing women, and made a ton of awesome memories with them. George and Power both had sex with 10 women each in their 12 weeks, had a bunch of wild adventures along the way. Join me and join them by clicking the coaching link in the description below.